Hey, it's Carol here and welcome to another tutorial. This time we're jumping into Blender and I will show you how to rig a car using the Launch Control add-on. So, what exactly is Launch Control? Imagine you've downloaded a nice car model, you drop it into Blender and... now what? Wouldn't it be cool if it just actually drive around? That's exactly where Launch Control comes in. In short, Launch Control is a super handy Blender add-on that lets you create realistic car animations in a simple and fun way. If you'd like to try Launch Control yourself, you can find it on the Superhive website, just search for Launch Control. Alright, so how do we get started? Get yourself a car model. There are plenty of options. There's Sketchfab, Blend Swap for free ones, and if you want something more polished, CG Trader or TurboSquid usually has good stuff at reasonable prices. Check the geometry. Make sure the model is at least split into the body and the wheels. If not, you'll need to separate those parts in edit mode. Set up the first wheel. Pick one tire, the rim and bolts and move them into a new collection. Since this is the front left wheel, let's call it WHL-FL. Turn off the rim and bolts for now, just keep the tire. Go into edit mode, select the last edge loops, then hit Shift S and cursor to selected. This will drop the 3D cursor right in the center of the tire. Exit edit mode, hit Shift A and add a new empty. If you did it right, the empty should be perfectly centered in the wheel. Turn the rim and bolts back on. Select them along with the tire, then finally Ctrl+ click the empty and press Ctrl+ P then Object. Nice! Now you've got a properly set up wheel. Rotate it a bit in the direction the wheel would naturally spin to make sure everything is well aligned. If something looks slightly off, use a copy location constraint to snap things perfectly to the tire's center. Now create a new collection, call it NULLS. Go back to WHL-FL, duplicate the control empty and rename it NULL-WHL-FL. Move it into the NULLS collection. This will act as the marker for where the wheel should sit. Select the original empty with the whole wheel. Reset all transforms to 0. Why? Because this ensures the wheel's pivot is dead center, which avoids issues with things like motion blur or Blender deciding to spin the wheel from the wrong point, giving you that old Disney 1940s cartoon vibe. Duplicate that empty again and name it brake.fl. Select the brake disc and calipers and parent them to this empty. It must share the same pivot as the wheel. Why bother? The wheel rotates, but the brakes don't. Keeping them separate keeps the animation realistic. Repeat this for the other wheels. At this point you should have a main collection for the car body. You can name the collection BODY. 4 collections for wheels, 4 for brakes, and the NULLS collection. Inside BODY collection, create another empty at the world origin and call it BODY. Parent everything that's left of the car to this empty. Duplicate it and move it to NULLS collection. Next, duplicate NULLS inside NULLS collection. Press Ctrl F2 and choose here Find or Replace. Then here write WHL and here Brakes. Because we duplicated NULLS with the same name, we have now this edition.001. So we need add another batch but in the type switch to strip characters and choose digits at the end. Add another one, choose strip characters again and this time choose punctuation at the end. Thanks to this, we now have updated names for the NULLS brakes. Congrats, prep work done. Save the file. Next is linking and appending. Open a fresh Blender scene. Link in the collections from your saved file, grab everything except NULLS. Notice how these come in as instances instead of geometry, which saves loads of memory and keeps things smooth. Now append from the same file, but this time pull in the empties. Parent the wheel instances to the corresponding empties using Ctrl+ P, then choose Object without inverse. This ensures everything lines up perfectly with 0 offset. Do the same for the brakes. Time for rigging. Now let's actually set up launch control. I'm on version 1.9.2, which gives access to the CAD workflow. In the launch control panel, pick your car collection, select the CAD data setup option. You'll see a lot of controls, but don't panic, you just need to plug in what we've already set up. For the body, pick the BODY. For each wheel, assign the corresponding NULL empty. Same with the brakes. In older versions, pivot points could get buggy, but now there's a neat option to check the wheel diameter. Just switch to a side view, zoom into a wheel, measure it with the ruler, and punch that number in here. If you have different tires on the front and back, just uncheck here and measure both of them. Done! Finally, click Rig Vehicle and boom! Now you've got all the cool controls, a path line for the rig, even a plane for driving. Honestly, I think this add-on is one of the best solutions for car rigging in Blender. There are some alternatives for Blender, but I stand my ground here. I know the prep phase might seem long, but that's because CAD car models can be huge. Thanks to instances, we dodge that problem and files end up being just a few megabytes. And if you want to use the rigged car in another scene, no problem. Save your rigged file, say lccar rig01, then in a new Blender project just append it here. Press this button, find your project here, and boom! Everything comes in ready to go. One rig, endless use. And that's it! I hope I managed to guide you through the whole process of rigging a car with launch control in a clear and accessible way. If you enjoyed this tutorial, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time!